If you want to win some free PSN or Xbox gift cards, all you gotta do is be subscribed to my channel, drop a like on this video, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to turn on notifications.
Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops 3 video. Today's video, I'm with my buddy Tankit again, and we're going to be talking about Black Ops 3 DLC weapons. Now, we made a vid a couple days ago talking about this, but there has been some new intel leaked on Reddit, and it's some pretty exciting stuff, which at first I was like, is this worth making a video on? I didn't really feel like it was, but when you look more deep into it, these theories and stuff could really come true, and it's basically about weapons that are already in zombies of BO3, whether it's DLC 5 or previous DLCs or just in the base game of the zombies, being brought into multiplayer for this DLC contraband, for October contraband basically. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, there was a guy on Reddit called First World Problems Man, and what makes him credible is that he predicted the XMC coming back before it actually did come out. Now people are talking about which weapons are going to be coming back from zombies, and there's a whole thread with this guy, a bunch of other people talking about it, and there's a pretty good article here talking about the possibility of weapons from zombies coming into the actual game multiplayer. So if you guys could smack that like button, let's go for 2,000 likes. Throw those heavy ones up. Smack that down like button. 2,000 likes is what we want. And Tankit, I'll have you introduce basically what this Reddit thread, how it starts and stuff like that with the intel.
Alright, so the Reddit thread is pretty easy to follow. We'll leave a link in the description down below if you guys want to go read it for yourself. But essentially, it's a conspiracy and an idea-based post because there's so much information with how many weapons are already in zombies. And as you know, the PPSH was brought from the DLC 3 map, and these weapons kind of follow that same trend. It's weapons that could be added to Black Ops 3 because they're already in Call of Duty in some way, or they're already in a current zombies map. Now, the weapons range from pistols to LMGs to SMGs to assault rifles, and it does follow the previous predictions we made in the video like from 2 days ago. So a lot of this really lines up and proves the points we've been making, so it's pretty exciting. Now, the first weapon on this list is the Bloodhound. It's a revolver pistol. Now, I remember about a month or two ago, back in the summer, there was a leak of a kill feed. Now, this kill feed had some sort of flintlock pistols, some sort of shotgun pistol, and it featured that in a kill feed in BO3. Now, at that point, we didn't really know what it was. The Olympia then came out right after, so a lot of people kind of pushed that leak to the side and were like, okay, maybe it was some sort of edit or some sort of Olympia glitch. But that just makes me think, if it's a revolver pistol and this is coming from a fairly interesting and credible list on Reddit, it makes me think, does that pistol from the kill feed have anything to do with this? Now, they obviously go into, more further detail in the Reddit post, which we'll leave a link in the description down below, but there's several other weapons if Luke wants to, chime in on that.
Yeah, so me, myself, and I think Tankit as well, we're not the biggest zombies like fans or anything like that. Like when we play, it's just with a couple buddies and stuff like that. We're not the people that grind, leave the PS4 on for 8 days to get to the high rounds. But the Bloodhound is essentially just a revolver pistol. I'll be leaving pictures up on the screen of each of these weapons so you guys can see what they look like and if you would like to have them in multiplayer. So that one is basically like a snub pistol revolver, which could be pretty cool to come out. Now, sticking to the theory that we said in the last video, we think it's probably going to be one primary and one secondary.
Yes.
So out of these lists, if they did do the zombies instead of bringing back from previous Treyarch games, this one could be on the block for a pistol. The next one is the Mauser C96, I think that's how you say it, and it is another pistol. I'll show a picture up on the screen. This pistol reminds me, I've watched some gameplay on it, and it really reminds me of the World War II, the first pistol that we had in that game. It was pretty deadly, and probably the best pistol we had in World War II, at least in the beta, and I think if this pistol came back into the game for BO3, a DLC multiplayer, that would be good. However, at the same time, we already have so many good pistols, and that's why I'm sort of excited for a pistol, but I'd much rather see other weapons coming back. Would you agree with that, Tan? Do you think a pistol's going to come back from zombies? Or
I think that the pistol zombies crossover is kind of done. We got the 1911, the main one everyone was asking for, so I don't really see much hype around bringing back another pistol, especially with the 1911 coming out only a couple DLC weapon updates ago. So I'm not really putting that much money. If I was to bet and gamble on which weapons are going to come, I'm not going to put that much on a pistol from zombies because I just don't see them creating that much hype.
The next one on this list is the Bootlegger, which I would love to see come back into COD BO3. This one is essentially the Sten from COD AW. It's a weapon that's in BO3 Zombies, like all of these ones, and it looks so unbelievably cool. It's also very similar to the Type 100. We don't really have a weapon like this in Black Ops 3, and I think this would fit perfectly. We do already have a bunch of BO3 SMGs that have been coming back from previous CODs and stuff like that, and I think this one would fit in, and it would be, I'd be honestly super excited to open this one out of a supply drop. Do you think this would be a good weapon to come back into BO3?
Yeah, for sure, because like even going back to Advanced Warfare, we had the Sten, and that was a huge weapon. It came out later in its life cycle, you know, kind of similar to how BO3 is working right now. I'm almost, actually kind of weird how the timelines work out. We're talking about the Sten right before a new COD's coming out, and then when Advanced Warfare dropped their Sten, it was like right before BO3, so kind of interesting right there. But the Sten was like a super interesting, super cool weapon, and it's one of those weapons where it's almost like a nail gun. You could kind of put it in a special weapon category if you wanted to make it more a little bit, I guess, energy based or futuristic. It has that possibility, or you can keep it as like the classic, more traditional Call of Duty style weapon where it's, a pretty basic SMG. So it's a very versatile weapon, and it's also a previous one from supply drop, so it would make that crossover really easy, and a lot of people would already know it because there's so much hype from AW going into BO3 and then BO3 going to World War II. It just, if they were to fuse the weapons and I guess bounce them from COD to COD, it would obviously please the majority of players.
Yeah, I definitely think that one would, I'd be honestly, it's pretty much at the top of my list. If that one did come back, I'd be super hyped about that. Next one is the M1927, which is basically just the Zombies name and version of the Thompson, which of course we have in World War II. We had in the beta, we've had in previous Call of Duty games. This is another one that I'd love to see come back. And a lot of these ones, the reason why this theory is so possible, in my opinion, is because, number one, Treyarch loves to bring back old stuff and stuff that's already created. These are not only already created in previous CODs, these are in the exact same game.
Correct.
All you have to do to profit money for Treyarch is literally copy, paste, I don't know how the coding works, but you know what I mean. Copy, paste from Zombies over to multiplayer, slap that in supply drops. Reddit, Twitter, YouTube will go crazy and love these weapons, and also they fit along with the theme that Call of Duty is going into right now, which is World War II. Like these weapons, much like Sledgehammer Games in AW, a lot of the weapons that we're talking about today, they did those towards the end of their life cycle as DLC, and that was, people were saying, oh, that's like an Easter egg, because of course Sledgehammer Games dropped some World War II guns, and then 3 years later it turned out the next COD is World War II. So of course, Treyarch and Sledgehammer Games are different companies, but they're all under the same umbrella of Activision, and it would be very smart for branding if that's something that they did, bringing back, of course, if we're playing with the Thompson in BO3, then people see World War II has this gun, they might want to play World War II a little bit more than they already do, and that's something that even boosts this theory up even higher. So do you think that is an extra point that gives us more credibility?
Yeah, for sure, because like even if you're considering the fact that Zombies weapons have a little bit more hype, because they're already in the community, that people are already playing with them, and they kind of have like that desire or that drive to like really hype up a weapon, because if you're loving it in Zombies, you're gonna love it in multiplayer. So it makes a lot of sense for one, if they're gonna hint towards World War II weapons. It also makes a ton of sense if that weapon is already in Zombies for it to be brought back to multiplayer. It just works out way better, especially like, again, like just like you said, I don't know how the coding works. I don't know if it's as simple as a copy and a paste, but if you have the resources and you have the materials and it's already coded into your game, I'm not too sure how difficult it is to move it around different modes within the game, but it's got to be definitely way easier than creating a weapon from scratch.
Yeah, definitely. Like the gun, they'd have the base gun, and of course they're gonna have to change. Like, you're not shooting zombies, you're gonna be shooting real bullets at real multiplayer enemies, so they're gonna have to change all that, and that's of course a lot of work as well. So it's not just copy paste, but having that base gun and the looks, the iron sights, all that would be complete, so that would make it a lot easier. Next one on this list is going to be the MP40. Now this one is interesting. Of course, this was remade in Zombies Chronicles. Now the reason why I would say this one is a little less likely is because we already have the HG40, which came out like a year ago or even more than that, and it was a remake of the MP40 for Black Ops 3 DLC. So I wouldn't put it past them to throw in the MP40, but I think this one is probably less likely because we already have the HG40. Next one is the STG44, and this one I think is probably the most likely to happen for the reason that it follows our theory that we said in our last video, where the last couple weapon drops have gone SMG with the 74U, assault rifle with the KVK, SMG with the XMC. So now if it's sticking to that pattern, it's time for an assault rifle. And there's only one assault rifle on this list here from Zombies, from this theory on Reddit, which means the STG-44 fits pretty much all the criteria to be brought back. And if I was a betting man, I would bet on this weapon being the one to come back, because it fits the theme of the World War II and the AW and all that sort of stuff. It's from Zombies, very easy to do the copy paste. It's a weapon that has a lot of hype around it, and it's also an assault rifle. So, do you think this would be the most likely out of these weapons, or do you have a different idea when it comes to that, Tad?
Yeah, it's got to be the STG or the Bootlegger, the Sten remake, just because I think those weapons are, they have a lot of variables with them. Obviously, the most hyped, the most recognizable, a lot of people know the STG and the Sten. The other weapons, you could kind of throw maybe the Thompson there, but in terms of, how they're, following the trends, we have the 74U, the KVK, the PPSH, there's always a bounce between SMG and assault rifle, so it would make a lot of sense for them to match the MSMC or the XMC, follow that up with an assault rifle, and obviously there's a side weapon with that, whether it is like a pistol like we said, or a different weapon, a sniper, an LMG, maybe even another SMG of some sort. It would make a lot of sense for the STG because, again, it's already in Zombies, it's the most hyped, and it follows that trend.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with that. The last one here on this list would be the MG08, which is an LMG from Zombies. This one I think would be kind of cool because we are sort of overdue for an LMG. We only have the R70 Ajax. However, for the last DLC weapon drop, I think they're going to go for something that's more going out with a bang, going out with hype. And of course, the STG, MP40, Thompson, Bootlegger, those have hype around them. The MG08 really doesn't have that much hype, even though it would fit into the game very well. So maybe we could see this one as not the headlining gun, but as the secondary gun, basically. Of course, it's a primary, but you know what I mean, the secondary gun of the drop. And that could be a possibility. But for this final DLC drop, there's basically three. The hype is bigger than ever. There's three ways they can go with it. One way would be completely designing new guns and stuff like that, which I think is basically out the window. They haven't done that pretty much all this year. Since the LV8 Basilisk, I think, of the HLX4 and stuff like that. Second way is what we talked about a couple days ago, bringing back weapons from previous Call of Duty Treyarch games, which they've shown they can do that. So that's a high possibility. And the third way is bringing back one from a Zombies mode, which they've shown they can do that as well. So I think no matter what happens, we're pretty much going to be getting something pretty exciting. And of course, the way this Reddit ends is basically saying that there's no reason for Activision and Treyarch, who said they're going to have this full second-year DLC lifecycle, to not add these weapons, because even though they are designing the next COD, which is probably Black Ops 4, these weapons are already designed in the game or in previous games, and I don't think it really does take that much work. It does take a lot of work, but not compared to designing a whole new game. And the profits that they make off of supply drops, especially when stuff like the XMC, an overpowered weapon, comes out, is just huge. So I definitely think you guys should be looking out. Of course, I'm saying it's probably going to be a Tuesday in October this stuff comes out. Going to be very excited for that. Any final thoughts here, Tankid?
Yeah, it's the final DLC weapon set, so, all the weapons we include in the list, all the weapons we talked about in the past, and the weapons you want to share in the comments down below, your dream DLC weapons for the final DLC weapon update. It is the last and final, performance. It's the encore. So BO3, if they're dropping something, it's going to be, at a banger level. There's not going to be any, sort of, what's that weapon? I never seen that before. It's going to be, the pinnacle of the DLC weapons. Like, we just came off the XMC and the Olympia. Previous to that was the A94. So they're really, pulling out all the big nostalgic banger weapons from previous Treyarch games. So if they're going to follow, with BO1, BO2 weapons that are now in Zombies, it makes a lot of sense for, the Thompson or the STG, or even the Sten from, Advanced Warfare. It makes a lot of sense for those weapons. Obviously, other weapons could come. You can chime in the comments down below. Let us know what you think could be coming, what you want to see. But besides that, it is the final weapon update. So I'm expecting some pretty big stuff. On top of the weapons as well, the Camos and the contracts, maybe another, triple play or a Grand Slam. I think they're going to do some other stuff as well, but we have to see.
Yeah, that is also another thing I want to add, that you brought that up, kind of refresh my memory. Yep. There was the Zombies camos leaked, and of course we have, like with Zombies Chronicles, we got all those, people call them different dark matter colors, but they're actually just zombies camos. Yeah. We have the green, the purple one, everyone got the orange one. I think it's Dragonfire or something like that it's called. Everyone got that one from the community contract, I think.
And the Cosmic Camo.
So, yes. So there's still some other ones that were leaked that have not come camos from zombies to multiplayer, which means this, not only could they come out with these weapons, they could do one of those limited camos, Cherry Fizz, like into the void, like they've done before, and include basically a 1-2 punch with the zombies' weapons and zombies' camos. Seems like it will go along together very well, and that would be a good idea of something for them to do. Just another thing to think about, of course, there's so many ideas floating around. We want to make videos, hear your guys' feedback in the comments and all that sort of stuff. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did and make it to the end, smack that like button. Let's go for 2,000 likes, guys. And have a great night. Sub for Cookie and don't looky. And we're out. Peace.
Peace.